Happy New Year, everyone. Our first game of the 2020 calendar season. John Nelson, Rob Willman on ICTN as we see the Lady Vikings of Nimitz and the Lady Cardinals of Irving Mack. Mack comes in averaging 51 points a game. Nimitz comes in averaging right at 35. District game number 4 for both teams. As we are housed here at Nimitz High, everyone chasing Hebron and Flower Mound to begin this early district campaign. Mack and Marcus tied for second. Louisville, Coppell at 1 and 2. Nimitz and the Lady Tigers looking for district win number 1. Lady Vikings with a new coach this year, April Zachary, of course Susie O, and year number 34 for the Lady Cardinals. The starting 5 being introduced for the Lady Vikings of Nimitz, as we said, averaging 35 points a game. 8 wins, 14 losses overall, 0-3 in district play. Nimitz losing to Hebron, Marcus, and Flower Mound, their first 3 district games of the 2019-2020 basketball campaign. Pretty decent crowd on hand here tonight. And the starting 5 for the Lady Cardinals: Newsom, Browning, Gusters, Green, and Gutierrez. We will not see Sarah Andrews. Sarah on the shelf for another 2 weeks, averaging 17 points a game. Jordan Newsom averaging 15. And Hannah Gusters averaging 18 for the Lady Cards at 12 and 10. Wilson, Haley, Gonzalez, Ortega, and Durley, the starting 5 for the Lady Vikings. They come in having lost 3 of their last 4. Gonzalez, Brittany Gonzalez, the diminutive little senior, averaging 15 points a contest through the first 22 games of the year. We're just about set to go as you see Coach O in year number 34, over 850 wins, 859 to be exact. Win tonight would give her an even 860. And April Zachary, who was an assistant at Duncanville in her first year here at Nimitz, played at Louisiana Monroe. And we're just about set for the opening tip. Rob Willman, it's all yours, and Happy New Year.
Hey, Happy New Year to you too. First game for ICTN in the new year of 2020. And you can tell who the taller player is in the dark uniform of the Lady Cards at 6'4", Gusters. Her and Sarah Andrews yet to play a game together all year. It's been that kind of season for Susie. She's just hoping to get both her star players on the court at the same time. Rather rare that they even have a district loss 3 weeks into it. And that is the first basket of the ball game by Green, Madison Green. With the bucket, she's the 5'11" forward. She'll play up there with Gusters underneath as well. Susie, not much of a press yet. That always subject to change. This is number 23, Tiara Wilson. Wilson is the ball handler along with Brittany Gonzalez. Loses a handle and Browning comes up with it. The fast break, the reverse layup missed. Gusters is there with the follow-up, and it's a very quick 4-0 lead in favor of the Lady Cardinals. The Cardinals have played a couple of tournaments, but because of the depth, they have not performed quite as well as Susie had hoped. And when you lose someone like Andrews, who averages 7 rebounds a game and 5 assists a game and 17 points a game, you know, you're really going to lose some offensive punch, Mr. Nelson.
Well, it's a combination. They would love. Susie O, she said, I'm just counting the days. I'm just counting the days till Sarah returns. She was hurt on November 23rd. And probably a couple of more weeks to go before she and that great combo of Gusters can combine to put a thrust into the first half of this district season. I mean, it couldn't have come at a worse time early here in the district campaign.
Think about both Sarah and Hannah. They have played together in the summer, so it's not like they're foreign to each other. So maybe take them a couple of weeks to get the groove going again, and for Sarah just to get into game shape. So the Lady Vikings with a quick timeout, finding themselves down 4-0 here in the early go. And we've got a whistle away from the play. And that's going to go against number 34, Paulina Ortega, the post, trying to set a high post screen. Couldn't get away with it.
Both of these teams defensively giving up 49 points a contest. Game number 23 for the Lady Cards.
Running business was Browning. They go over to Gusters in the corner. Inside, Gusters, not much of a contest. Offensive putback. Finally, the third rebound, and it's Gusters for 2 points. You know, it's pretty tough when your big players for the Lady Vikes are 5'10" at the biggest, and you know you're giving up at least 6 inches in height, and that goes off the leg of Brittany Gonzalez, the 4'11" guard, and this is the type of game that we are accustomed to watching Mac, and that's where they get off to a very quick start, and they just tighten the screws therein. Browning over in the corner, then they go inside to Gusters, off the glass. She now has 6 quick points here early in the game. We've only played a couple of minutes, and she's got 6 of the 8, and as one might imagine, it's very easy for the Lady Cards to work inside, and they've got to do that, especially when the outside play isn't there yet. Wilson, a little run, holds on to it. They get one shot, board's cleared, and nicely done getting back defensively is Wilson to knock that one out of bounds.
Well, Lady Cards, Rob, they've got height this year. We were looking at the roster with Hannah at 6'4", off of the bench, Madison Green at 5'11".
Matati also at 6'2". Well, she can hit on the outside as well. So there's a 3-ball in the corner pocket, and it's now 11-0. For Coach Zachary, the first-year head coach of the Lady Vikings, she said she knew what was ahead when she accepted the job, that she just wanted to get back and try to get that head coaching job as Wilson turns it over there. There is April, 03 graduate of Duncanville High School. She said the one thing, or the biggest challenge for her, is the fact that most of her players haven't really touched a basketball or have played competitive until they start playing basketball in the 7th grade. Nice feed underneath. And the basket by Green, her second. So far, all the points, all 13 of them, have been between Gusters and Green.
Senior to sophomore.
The double G's underneath. Gonzalez being pestered by Gutierrez, a last-minute starter for Susie's squad. She knew 4, she didn't know who the 5th would be. And it's Gutierrez in the process, trying to go inside as Ortega. And that ball is knocked out of bounds, and we have our first substitution for the Lady Vikes. Ortega will sit down, and Brown will come in, the 5'10" junior. She plays the post as well. Pressure inbounding, the ball slapped around, and here come the Lady Cards again, pushing up the court very quickly. Bounce pass to Browning. Browning left wide open. Missed. There's the offensive boards. They get it again. Gusters fights. Presses a little too much as Durley, the 5'9" post for the Lady Vikings, was there to be a little pester, but the inbound goes straight to Hannah. And Gusters has 2 more points. She is now in double figures with 11. We have a full timeout at the 4:27 mark of the first quarter. 15-0 Lady Cardinals. Can you imagine what it would be if Andrews was in there right now?
Yeah, Sarah comes in averaging 17 points a game. Hannah Gusters averaging 18. Rob, the Lady Vikings, they have some decent shooters. They've got Tiara Wilson hitting right at 40% from the field. And, of course, Gonzalez can fill it up from three-point range. She's already landed 44 threes this year. But when you're down 15-0, may have to change and alter some things to kind of get back in this game.
Watch the inbounds play. Just boop, go right to her.
Able to free herself away from Cadence Brown.
Right there in the paint for the easy 2. We'll have the boys' game to follow. Toby and company off to a pretty good start for the boys at MacArthur High School. He usually has a competitive group. It was, what was it, last year, the year before, not so much, but he knew that he would bounce back. Had a lot of youngsters there as Susie walks the sideline. Timeout as now complete, and Brittany will bring the ball across, closing in on the halfway mark of the very first quarter. Glad to have you along on ICTN, year 2020. Wilson has 2 on her. I mean, they just double team the best player, and what's going to happen? You're just not going to find any room. Tied up, Wilson and Newsom. And the control will go to the Lady Vikings.
It was Newsom that caused the turnover. She was kind of sandwiched between the 2 defenders, able to go between them and cause that pile-up.
Not a lot of separation for the Lady Vikings. Gonzalez for 3, and that's what they've got to do. They have to hit the 3-pointers to make things happen. Brittany averaging about 30% from the field behind the arc. And if you're going to have a chance for the Lady Vikes, that is what you have to do. Gusters, I can hit 3 as well.
Silky smooth from 3-point range.
Well, you don't see that too often from a 6'4" post, in high school at least, but she has a very smooth shot and can hit her from up top or not. Brittany will try to work her way around again. Not a lot of room for Brown as she had Gusters in her face. Let's see if they try to set a post to free up Gonzalez. They did. She's working base. Wilson with the head fake. Slapped away. Wilson fights for it, can't get it. Browning uncontested, and she gets it blocked at the last minute. Nicely done by Brown. It was Brown and Browning. And then following it up is Green. Green and Guster still the only 2 to score for these Lady Cards in the first quarter. As we're under 3 minutes to go, quarter number 1. Gonzalez, she has it blocked by Gutierrez, but they're going to say she used the body as well. Susie was looking at the referee, who's chuckling with her and saying, no. Susie was saying ball, nothing but ball. Didn't get the call.
Got 4-11 working on 5-5.
She's still hounding the official a little bit, but they're all smiling. First shot not there.
Brittany hitting, well, that is her 14th free throw. She is 12 of 14 from the line.
You'd think she'd have more, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I would.
Makes a second. So she's got all 4. Browning goes inside to Gusters. Gusters with that little baby hook. Ball kept alive, and the shortest player on the court comes up with it. She's trying to find Wilson on the backside wing. Takes the 3 shot. Misses, and Hannah rebounds. Hannah, good ball movement. Just when I say that, I thought maybe Wilson would pick her pocket. Didn't do it. In the corner, in and out attempt by Newsom. Follow-up will not count, and a whistle and a foul against MacArthur going over the back. That's going to be charged to Madison Green, the 5'11" post player.
Yeah, working on Durley in the paint at 5'9".
I mean, let's face it, for the most part, John, these high school teams, they're pretty much loaded with guards, but the hard thing to find is someone with height and not just tall, but can play tall.
And can run the floor if needed.
That is
solo.
Brown. Brown had an open shot, didn't feel comfortable taking it. Wilson goes back out to Gonzalez for 3. So Brittany gets another tray. Makes it respectable. Gusters drives the lane, and it falls.
Drove around 1, able to get around Haley and put it up and in.
16 points in the first quarter for Hannah. Transferring over from Duncanville last year. The district said you can't play, you're going to have to sit out a season. So that is what she did. And now she's trying to make up for it. Misses the free throw. Both her and Sarah Andrews have made a decision to play college ball at Baylor. Can't go wrong with that. Lady Bears, well, right around number 4 in the country this year. 4 and 6, kind of bounced around a little bit. As Morgan Browning pulls up. Defensively, Brown with the steal. Got to get it to Gonzalez because she's the one that can handle the basketball. does so very well. Gutierrez going to be charged with the slap. Savannah not so sure about that, but kind of impressed with Gutierrez. She's got really quick feet and does some really good job guarding Gonzalez. And now Webster will come in.
Team foul number 3 on the Lady Cards.
One thing I've noticed, John, compared to past seasons for Susie, she's at this point in the game and in the past, she's substituted about 800 times.
Yeah.
You know that?
Yeah.
And she hasn't done a lot of that tonight. She's pretty much stuck with a few of the starters. That is thrown away. Green missing her mark.
Yeah, but you're right, Rob. I mean, and you can't wait for Sarah to get back, because when she returns, not only can they run and gun, they can pack it in tight, and they can hit the outside 3.
Yeah, the defensive opposition, they will have their hands full trying to decide what they want to do. Gonzalez back iron miss. Coming up is Newsom. Newsom left side, 1-on-3. The no-look pass almost got it to Hannah, and it goes off the hands of Durley, the post player, number 42. There she is there underneath the basket. Gusters misses. Less than a minute to go. See if Nimitz holds for the last shot. Gonzalez will just dribble around. Wilson has been stymied tonight. Their leading scorer has had a tough time getting the basketball. So Gonzalez has to do all the work. A little bounce pass.
Got to shoot.
Less than a minute, second I mean, and they couldn't get it off. So we have finished 1 quarter to play. MacArthur on top, 22-7. We'll take a break, come back in the second quarter in a moment. 22-7 after 1 quarter. All the points scored by just 3 players combined from both teams. Wilson again just having a very tough time working the baseline in the inside, having her shots blocked. Gusters misses the first, the second, gets her 3rd rebound, tipped around some more. There's no one there that can get the basketball. And finally, after about 4 tries, she picks up her 18th point here in the ball game.
And 4 offensive rebounds in a matter of about 6 seconds.
Yeah. Talk about padding the stats, right?
Yeah.
Nimitz came in with a negative 188 point differential, meaning they were giving up 188 more points than they were scoring, whereas the Lady Cards 129 in the positive. Wilson working on Browning. If you look at the middle, you can't see it here, but just to your left of the screen, they pretty much sag in. You see right there in the paint. And there's not a lot you can do. I mean, you've got Brown that's 5'10" for Nimitz. She's going against Gusters at 6'4". So a huge height difference. And anytime they try to get a jump shot, there's just not enough separation. Only Gonzalez can do that. And Gonzalez has hit 3 threes. She now has all 10 points for the Lady Vikings.
Her 47th 3 of the year.
We were talking numbers, pretty impressive the fact that Hebron, the Lady Hebron team, has outscored their opponents by 400 points, a little over 400. Lady Cards coming off a district loss, a rare district loss for them, losing to Louisville.
Yeah, they have lost 3 of their last 4 games.
1 and 2 in district. You don't see that very often. Also the fact that, you know, so much hype coming in, so much hype. Brown to her right, loses the basketball, cannot save it. And it'll be a turnover, MacArthur's ball.
Well, they are the defending district champions. They were 14-0 last year, went 28-8 overall. 6 seniors, 5 juniors, and 2 sophomores.
they've definitely lost the outside touch from a year ago, but they're making up for it with their size and their inside play. Not just Gusters, but they've got good size on this team. That is Webster there going up against Gonzalez. To her left, pulls back. She's hit still a little over 50% of her threes tonight, coming in at about 30% from behind the arc. And you think that Lady Cards losing Gusters with 2 more, losing to Louisville, who one of 4 teams, well, if you count Coppell at 500, we're over 500 coming in overall before district starts. A little stop and pop pivot move by Webster, and she'll go to the free throw line.
Yeah, that loss to Louisville, 56-52. Game was in doubt the last 3 minutes.
Webster, who averages just over a point a ball game, misses the first free throw. She still does have a chance to be the first one to score other than Gusters, Green, and Gonzalez. Gusters, Green, Gonzalez. If your name doesn't start with a G, John, at least at this point.
We've got 5 G's on our phone. We got 3 G's tonight on the court.
Oh, there it goes. Way to go, Kayla. It is a G night. They break the press pretty easily. Durley really didn't have anyone else to go to. De La Garza, sophomore guard in for Coach Zachary's Lady Vikings. First time we've seen De La Garza. She tries to work the pick, almost gets run over. Also Galloway, number 20 in.
Yeah.
She has to go up against Gusters as well. We've got a whistle and a foul. That's going to be against Heaven Butler. So now Susie has made. So yeah, Susie has made some changes here. Almost halfway through a couple minutes gone by here in the second quarter, but Gonzalez with the miss. Offensive rebound. And it can't fall, but we will have a foul. And that'll send De La Garza to the free throw line.
Boy, you get a rare offensive rebound and a second chance to score, and you have to earn these from the line. That doesn't happen too often against the Lady Cards.
Butler charged with the foul. Heaven Butler, the senior. We've seen her a few times here on ICTN. De La Garza misses the first, and we get more substitutions as now Courtney Wright, number 12, coming in for Susie. Got a couple starters in, Newsom, Browning, Gusters in there. De La Garza misses the second, so she offers on the free throws very quickly. Fast break finished off. 2 more for Hannah.
Money in the bank.
You know, John, we've done a few high school girls games in our day, and by far the most dominating big girl I think we've ever had.
Yeah,
the pleasure of watching.
I think you're right. Well, I know you're right.
We've
nobody else comes close.
We've had plenty of guard play. Susie's had some great guards in her day, but the first really good-sized post player.
Well, she dictates, she dominates, and she destroys. I mean, everything you want out of that 6'4" frame.
She had 40 in that loss to Louisville. Bombs away by Newsom. She's just like, we got to try something else. And right there with the steal is Browning. She loses control. Substitution as De La Garza will take a breather and Ventura will come in.
The only freshman. 32.
Yep. They have, 4 sophomores and 1 freshman. Coaches every year always say, yeah, we're young. Well, they really are. Wilson guarded closely by Browning. Browning's done a really good job on Wilson, not allowing her any freedom. I mean, if Wilson touches the ball, she's got to shoot pretty much like Brittany does. There she is, got to take her shot. Wilson with her first points of the ball game.
First offensive rebound they've had and a second chance point opportunity.
And you have to shoot, I mean, literally
quick.
Once it touches your hand, you've got to go with it. Or they're going to set, or there's going to be someone tall just right in your wheelhouse. That is Newsom that drove baseline. She is fouled. And Newsom will go to the free throw line. Newsom, she averages about 15 points a ball game. She is the third player on this team in double figures.
That was a very good baseline cut, able to get behind it early.
Makes her first free throw. And Browning will sit down, and not Sarah Andrews, Emma Parks, number 1. There she is. Will come in as Newsom lines it up and rattles it home. Leads expanded to 19. And the Lady Cards lay back somewhat. Not a lot of pressure over the timeline. A little half-court pressure. Wilson. And there is some room underneath if they can get it inside. Durley was doing a really good job posting up on the baseline as Courtney Wright was trying to guard her, and for once Durley had a size advantage as they had a switch, and Gusters was a little far out. There is Gonzalez with the runner, her first 2 ball. Nimitz giving it everything they got. Newsom around over to Parks. Parks with the runner. Miss. There's Newsom with the putback. Offensive board and the putback. And once again, John, the Lady Cardinals not with the full court pressure.
Sagging back, and I really think they'd like to get the ball into the hands of Durley. There she is.
Durley works her way free, gets her first 2 points of the ball game. Well, you've seen Hannah hit a few 3 points tonight, and she draws the foul on the baseline. Watch Gonzalez.
Yeah.
Look at that little pass inside to Durley.
A safe, close bounce pass.
Nicely done. Hannah will shoot 2. After missing her first free throw, gets her second. We have Wright taking a breather. We're under a minute before intermission. Hey, they've slowed Gusters down, John. 16 in the first quarter, just 8 in the second.
Only 8?
Yeah, only 8. They're doing their job. Good defense. That's Webster, number 13, knocking it away.
We're about to see another sub come in. Matati.
Yep, that is Matati, 6'2". She's 6'2". Oh, we get Gusters out of there, thank goodness. Oh, yeah, a couple of inches in height there. Bodies fly. Somehow it gets all the way around to Gonzalez, who's open. Got a good look. Hey, look, there's 3 Lady Vikings underneath the glass. Wilson is there. And a very rare occasion where an offensive board falls into the hands of the Lady Vikings. So they put Gusters on the bench with under 30 seconds to go. Changes the complexity of the game. They get rebounds and get their hands on the ball. And here comes Gonzalez. Got somebody behind her trailing. Give it to Wilson. Wilson is fouled by Newsom, I believe, trailing the play.
Yeah, she couldn't hold up. Team foul number 6.
See the time on the clock there, so enough time for an attempted free throw if they had gone over the limit, but they had not. So now they have to inbound. This is Galloway, number 20. You know she's going to try to find Gonzalez, and the ball is slapped away nicely by Webster. The sophomore with true hustle. Gonzalez, looking at her hand a little bit, might have got the ball and hit the fingers backwards a little bit. Not a lot of time. Up off the glass, attempted by Durley, misses his mark. And we have finished a half of basketball, 35-18 in favor of the Lady Cardinals. After a half of basketball, it's pretty much been the Hannah Guster show. We'll talk about her, the stats, and some highlights in a moment. Stay with us.
And welcome back to Nimitz High, 35-18. Mac on top of Nimitz. They led by 19 on 3 different occasions. Got off to that lightning start, 15-0 lead, expanded that to 18-3, eventually to 29-10. Outscored Nimitz 13-11 in that second quarter. Well, early on it was Gusters and Madison Green. Hannah Gusters inside, 2 of her 24 points. About 9 offensive rebounds to boot her. She is tipping it up inside, then outside in the corner, able to stick a 3, the only 3 that the Lady Cards had in the first half. And then the bounce pass into a wide open Madison Green, who had 6 early points in the first half. Brittany Gonzalez lighting it up for the Lady Vikings. 3 of her 3s. She finished with a dozen points. That one came from O'Connor. Whoa, she buries that one from long distance. Brittany Gonzalez now with 47 threes on the season. 35-18, all MAC as we get set for half number 2. Gusters with 24, Madison Green and Jordan Newsom combining for 10, and Kayla Webster with 1. Brittany Gonzalez with a dozen. Other than that, Tiara Wilson added 4. Deja Durley chipped in a couple of points late in the first half, and we are underway, Rob.
And pretty much the same lineup that started this game. This time the Lady Vikings triple team Gusters underneath the backboard, and it's a jump ball call. So that's a successful defensive strategy right there for the Lady Vikings. It was their possession on the arrow, and so they call that a big win-win for them to stop the first possession in the second half. Brittany is going to be guarded by Gutierrez. Just how this game started. The same starting 5 for Susie and company as they try to continue their momentum here in the third quarter. The Lady Cards have lost 3 of their last 4. They lost 3 in a row at one time earlier in the season. Rebounded by Gutierrez, and here come the Lady Cards with Jordan Newsom running the show. Near side, no one guarding the wing, and they go ahead and toss it out to Green. And Green gets the first 2 points of the second half for the Lady Cards. Susie just to our right, hollering encouragement to her team defensively. And if they continue to pour it on like this, we'll have John talk to her after the game, get her thoughts on how the team is playing without one of its 2 stars. That is Browning. Stops and pivots and gives to Gusters with the easy 2 points in her first 2 of the second half. One thing I know Susie did not like in that last series of play offensively for the Lady Vikings was the fact that they left a player wide open to take a shot. Bad habits now will translate into bad habits when you play a much better team. And I know she wants to clean that up now defensively. That foul on Browning. And a substitution for April's squad as she has Galloway, one of the forward/posts for the Lady Vikings take a seat. Wilson, who managed just a couple of points in that first half, or 4 points in that first half, trying to make something here, and she is hacked there by Browning, who came over on the right side, and that'll send Wilson to the free throw line here in the second half.
A couple of quick fouls on Morgan Browning. Lady Vikings were 1 of 4 in foul shooting the first half.
Well, this is a team that if you get a free shot, you need to make it. You need to make the free ones. You've got to squeeze out every point possible just to try to go toe-to-toe with MacArthur. Second shot, that rattles in.
Are you saying they have to win all 3 phases?
Yeah,
3 phases?
like that. Yeah, something like that. It's a process. So a couple of minutes gone by here in the third. Both teams with a couple of chances to score. Green gives it over here on the near side, and there's Gusters with a couple. Makes it look very easy. Madison with Sarah Andrews not in the guard. Madison Green is a very good complement, I believe, to Gusters. Good size just as well, and when they come after her, then that leaves everyone else wide open. Three-pointer by Gonzalez. She now has 15 in the ball game, 15 of the 22. If they didn't have her shooting from the outside, they would have nothing. Newsom goes inside. Another shot is good by Green. Are they going to say a foul before? We do have a timeout after the foul. Let's wait for the official to give us the call. Susie. Well,
going to take a 30-second timeout.
I'm thinking he called time before the shot.
It happened.
It was a bang,
exactly.
bang play. Yeah.
Right on top of each other.
That is why Susie was a little upset, because she thought she had gotten the shot, the foul, the basket, and the time. Well, she didn't get any of it. And she got just her timeout, her 30-second timeout. Asking her girls to do something a little different. Turn up the D.
We'll see the Lady Cards in a couple of weeks. Our next game on ICTN from Irving High. Mac and Irving in a couple of weeks.
Will Sarah be back in time for that game?
Yeah, that's a good question.
MacArthur has played Irving once already, winning 81-31. There's the hoop in the arm. As Durley is called for the foul. Gusters gets that to fall and will go to the free throw line.
I've got her with 30 points now.
You are correct, Mr. Statistician. It might be 31 after this shot. Nothing but net. Nice form. We have a substitution coming in for the Lady Vikes. De La Garza will come in for the second time tonight. Emma Grace Haley will sit down. And Mac turning up the heat just a little bit in the backcourt. We haven't seen a lot of this. And this usually means at a point where Susie wants to work on it. Wilson.
And it worked.
Will not get it across the timeline. As Browning reached in. I thought for a minute at first they were going to call Browning for the foul, but instead it was just the 10-second call. So Newsom will inbound. As you just saw Zachary taking a look at her club. She knew it was an uphill battle. She knew the girls had to work hard. Everything had to fall in place. Gusters with another deuce. She had a couple of three-pointers in the first quarter. Gonzalez stops her dribble and somehow gets it across the timeline to her teammate. Lady Vikings work free on the base. It kicked it out to Wilson, over to Brittany. Probably only the second time tonight, John, that the Lady Vikings pick up an offensive rebound.
Not many. Not many at all.
A high screen. Brittany misses. Wilson rebounds. Wilson to Collins, inside. Nice little pass to De La Garza, can't handle it. Here comes Newsom. Newsom over to Gusters. Gusters puts her head down, misses. A little push out by Wilson. It's either going to be Green or Wilson. And it will be Wilson with the foul as Green had position. I think in this duo of Gusters and Green, Green may be the unsung hero. She's going to have 8 in the book so far. But the thing is, she does some of the intangibles, John. Getting good positioning to get rebounds that you don't see in the book. Gusters with the miss. Another miss.
Battles hard and pushed off.
And Brown, who is really not given up, number 22 for the Lady Vikings, earns that foul that she draws.
Team foul number 3. Have we done a game, Rob? Can you remember any girls scoring more than 30 points? I know Brittany Gonzalez, seemed like a couple of years ago, was maybe close to a 30-point game.
Oh, 30 as an individual. I thought you meant as a team. No.
Well, Guster's now 33 and counting. Maybe an all-time high on ICTN.
Yeah. Now, our producer, Scott Snyder, said don't forget Odyssey Sims, who went for like 40. Well, there was a pass to herself. Cadence Brown, number 22, pretty much passed it to a teammate who wasn't there, so she just ran it down. Blocked from behind by Wilson. Brown with the rebound. This is Gonzalez. Gonzalez sizing things up, no pun intended. The bounce pass. Double teamed, and all she could do was throw it out. The body's in front of us and up to the rim and good. Newsom, their second basket of the night, 6 in all. Gonzalez trying to get it to her teammate Durley. And that one goes out of bounds. Boy, when you're, what, 4'11", John, as you see there, Brittany Gonzalez is 4'11", and you leave your feet, and there's someone like 6'4" right in your way. There's not a lot of space for you to move or even make a pass. There's 3 for Gonzalez.
That is her 5th of the game.
Yep, 18 in all. Gusters, that was too easy. Just too easy.
35 and counting.
De La Garza just over the timeline in time. Good crowd on hand. Don't forget we've got the boys game next. Always spirited and loud here at Nimitz when those two teams get together. Wilson better watch the 10-second call. 3 Cardinals underneath the basket there. And they can't get the fast break to work as Browning loses control near the end. The Vikings, De La Garza takes a breather. And Kelly Ventura, a freshman, 5'5" freshman. If you're a freshman, John, and you're out there facing Mac, their tradition, their size, I think you mature and grow up in a hurry, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, and this is the first of 2 meetings this year. So.
Stolen pass, and Browning finishes that off for her first basket of the ball game. Knowing Susie, she may pull him back later, but she won't after seeing that. Durley left wide open. Gonzalez just chunked it the other end.
Good pass by the senior.
You know, just as I thought Susie might, pull him off there a little bit. There we go inside. Another 2 points for Hannah. She loves the pressure. She loves the full court pressure. She's done that for years. But if she sees her team lose and lose the defensive edge, she'll keep doing it. Fast break. Brown was there. Newsom comes back, and Newsom draws the foul.
Newsom able to twist free, but Lady Vikings pick up their 3rd team foul.
That's Ventura, the freshman. Newsom has already hit her first 2 free throws of the night. And John, you would think with the height mismatch like this that maybe Nimitz would resort to a lot of hacking, but that's really not the case. Not a lot of free throws tonight for the Lady Cards.
And Mac, I mean, they're so quick, you just don't get a second chance.
Missed the second. Durley rebounds. Back and a little man-to-man. Wilson gets it a fall. Couple more subs. Kimberlyn Daniel checks in for the first time tonight. John, there's that off-balance little toss and gets the roll.
Hung on the back iron and had enough spin on it to follow through. They'll take it.
Mr. Free shot could be the last offensive possession for the Cards. Corner shot, good, right at the end of the quarter for Wright. Well, a nice long shot. I don't think it would have counted. But we're pretty much where we started with a big lead for the Lady Cards, and they're holding on to that with a 58-29 lead after 3. We've got the last quarter in a moment. Stay with us. So we head to the 4th quarter of play. The Lady Cards with a commanding 58-29 lead. You know, we talked about the fact that Gusters hasn't gone to the line that often, that, you know, a lot of teams will just try to hack her and see if she could win it at the free throw line. And that was kind of a weak hack right there by Durley. And Gusters gets her 2 there. This game being taped on January 7th, 2020. Second year sensation, Luka Doncic for the Mavs. They've been complaining how he's been getting hacked a lot and not getting enough free throws for his effort.
Yeah, season's greetings. I mean, he has he has been hit. Well, an even 40 points for Hannah Gusters. That matches what she tallied earlier in a non-district contest.
I mean, again, the only thing I can think of doing is pushing her, making her go to the free throw line to earn the points.
They all have to alter their shot over Gusters.
Daniel with a second chance and made it count there. 5'5" junior with her first 2 points. And she'll now guard Wilson. Again, the guys are next as we put the wraps on this one here on the 4th quarter of the ball game. Lady Vikings' last win was against Western Hills, 53-49. That was a few weeks ago. Gusters trying to show that she's fleet of foot as well.
In and out, she was fronted by Wilson, who was hit with a foul.
This little move right here. I remember at the time when he was called Lou Alcindor, playing for UCLA.
Coach John Wooden.
Yep, and he referenced him when he had played a game, conference game in the Pac-10, Pac-8, probably back in those days, when he went court to court, end to end, looked like a guard out there. And post-game they asked him, where did he learn his ball handling? And he said, well, Coach Wooden makes me do all the drills as all the guards. So therefore, I can dribble.
Add another compliment to your game. 42 points now for Gusters. This could be an all-timer on ICTN.
And like you said, John, they just altered their shot. That's
Yeah, you got it. There's nothing straight on. It's either a 45-degree angle or the other one.
And everything is going the Ladies Cardinals' way as Brokenberry gets her first basket of the night.
Got her first two?
Yeah. Last time Nimitz defeated MacArthur was in the 04-05 season. The year after their coach graduated high school. Wilson draws the foul.
Team foul number 5 on Mac.
Since then, it's been all MacArthur. A quick scan. You look at some of the lopsided scores, 79-28 last year. The one that sticks out to me was the 11-12 season where Mac won 80-20 and 77-12.
Well, the lead now is 38.
That's good by Wilson. She'll get one more. And Courtney Wright will set down.
Lady Card's going to go to 3-1 in district play. Came in averaging 51 points. Nimitz came in allowing 49.
And I believe that's going to do it for Gusters, at least for now.
I think so.
As Matadi will come in. You got her for how many?
42. Oh, pushed off before she got it.
Well, here's the thing. This is the double dip. We thought that Gusters would sit down when Matadi came in, but no. They're going to have both of their 6-footers out there at one time. That's a little challenging, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, Madia Jr., she'll be back next year.
Well, they tried to put a screen up. Galloway did, and Galloway called for the moving screen, trying to give Gonzalez some room to shoot the basketball. Watch just to the right. See, she's moving. Hadn't set up yet. Good call.
Blindside block.
Matadi, a southpaw. Gusters goes strong in the lane. 360, uses the window.
Hey, so I can sit home for supper too when I come back.
This team lost to Arlington Martin early in the year, 55-45. And then it's a 4-point loss to Louisville. A couple of close games before the break. Could have gone either way.
I think Susie was asking Wally Banks, the scorekeeper, how many more points to 40.
Well, that's gone.
So the next question was how many points to 44. And I think that's might be where he, well, she's at 44 now. So she's going to go 45, right? What, 50 maybe?
Well, What do we got left? 4:12?
You can get 45 easy.
Half the period gone.
.46.
Mm-hmm.
Four more points to 50, then pull. What do you think? Well, we got a timeout. 4:08 to go. In this district, before the season started, there were the predictions. Now, of course, you know, that's before all the injury bugs hit Susie and company. And her two best players were sidelined, but they said Mac, Hebron, Louisville, and Marcus. And if you want to look at the standings coming into tonight's game, Louisville is not amongst the four. It's Flower Mound that has crashed that party, at least early on.
I think it's in 2 weeks that Lady Cards will host Louisville in the rematch.
For payback? .40-point lead. Where's that four-corner offense?
Wow, one working on three.
Somehow Wilson made it through there,
Yeah.
unscathed, and no one blocked a shot. First of all, surprised she went in there. Second of all, that, you know, there was nothing blocked. She didn't get fouled.
Able to get something on it.
Lady Cards in the bonus. Susie with some folks in there that usually don't get a lot of playing time, including Webster, number 13, who's guarding Gonzalez.
Emma Parks, a junior.
McCarty stays in there. So I'm looking around, I see just Gusters in there that was a starter early on.
That is the 8th team foul, so we go down to this end for the 1-and-1.
Watch the moving pick just to your right. It's Wilson.
Or no
See,
foul
six
shot,
out the
rather.
leg. MacArthur was trying to get that call earlier
Yeah,
tonight.
Yeah, a couple of times they almost did.
The assistant was working on the official. Under 3 to go. Mac just playing the man-to-man, and Lady Vikings doing what they can to find an opening, and they did. Gonzalez. That's her, what, 6th three-pointer tonight. I really think Gusters may be tired because she didn't even try to get off a little bit and get off the floor to block that. She's trying for those 50 points, John. She's taken the last two, and she's missed them both.
It's a 32-minute game, and she's played what, 29 of the 30?
At least. It seemed like they
Or
rested her the last minute. There we go.
Okay, what do you have her for now?
48, right? Well, all I heard Susie say was she broke the record.
48, 46.
48 points. 46 must have been the all-time.
Yeah.
And 48 must be the record. Her teammate came off the bench and said, I thought I wasn't going in until she scored 50. And Susie said, well, she broke the record. So,
And here she comes out.
Yep. She's tired. Is she coming out?
Well, she's close to the bench.
Wilson gets a free throw.
About to bring on Courtney Wright.
Ref said, come on. I think Hannah wanted 50. Susie's like, look, you broke the record. She's talking to her coach. You can't see it from where we're at.
You're going to put her back? Well, she's going to stay on the floor.
We're listening to the dynamics beside us here on front row here on court side.
And the result?
Well, she went back in. And the MacArthur crowd is hollering, we want 50.
Stuck on 48 with less than 2 to go.
Well, here's the going inside. Bench is up, and she gets it.
A half 100. It's never been done.
So now you think they'll pull her, and they will. And Susie goes, I want time. And she did it just so Gusters could get the high fives and the recognition, get the claps.
The all-time city record.
50 points. Wow.
Where were you on January 7th, 2020?
Nimitz High School. 50 of the 75.
So in essence, it's 25 to nothing. You're starting out a 25-0 game.
Or without her, they're down 34-25. There it is, Andrews there.
Well, these foul shots going to be important. Really important, aren't they?
Had that shot on the bench there as Sarah Andrews was the first one off the bench to give Gusters the high five after getting the 50 points. A little drama going on along the bench on whether she was coming out when she had 48. She didn't want to. She was going to be replaced because she had broke the record. She wanted to stay for the 50, and she ended up staying out there, and then as soon as she did, that was it. And the threes keep falling. This time, Heaven Butler with 3, the senior. We've seen her all season. Wilson with the mix. Matata and company. Brown either got tied up or fouled. They're going to say it was a jump ball. Pretty much just a dominating performance.
That's the only way you can put it. Started early and it'll end late.
Gonzalez with the baby hook to no avail. Freed in the corner. Parks is on her. Another tie-up on the baseline. They didn't call it. Here comes Parks. Matata will turn around. The southpaw misses. But it's run down by the Lady Cards. Great hustle by this team. Another 3 by Heaven. And Heaven Butler has hit her last 2 3-pointers. Little depth showing here as clock is winding down. We will have a little post-game with Susie. We'll have the stats, and we'll have all 50 points. No, just teasing. Brown misses the wide open shot. The putback is missed. Pretty indicative of what has gone on here. Parks will put up the shot. Nope, she doesn't. They were yelling at her to put it up before the game was over. But it's 81-34. Your final score. It was never in doubt. It was just a matter of how many points would Hannah Guster score. That was the whole thing right there. We will have Mr. Nelson talking to Susie. We'll have some highlights and stats and the boys' game coming up in a moment. Stay with us. Standing by now is our own John Nelson with Susie. John?
All right, Rob, thank you very much. Big win tonight for the Lady Cardinals and an all-time city record. Hannah Gusters pouring in 50 points. I thought that Hannah looked very well early on, and she complimented Madison Green very well also.
You know, she really did, working on that high-low. We've been working on the high-low. We've been working on the short corner. And I'm just really, really happy for our team. I'm happy for our staff. I'm happy for Hannah. That was an all-time record. And I'm just happy for our kids. You know, we've been through a lot this season. I don't think people realize how much we've been through. So I'm just really proud of our team and our program for tonight's victory.
What did you want to see out of your team early that you liked?
You know, I just liked our, we were ready to dog. You know, we were ready to go. We were ready. We had that intensity. We had that energy. We had that passion. And that's what I've been trying to get them to do this whole time. I mean, if you love the game, if you don't love the game, you don't need to be on this court. That's the way I look at it. If you don't love this game, you shouldn't be on this court with anybody. Because I'm still very passionate, and I don't want anybody to disrespect this game.
All right, district game coming up, very important also.
Very, very. We got 2 days to get ready for Hebron. They're coming to our house, and we got to go. We just got to go. We got to keep playing hard, and we got to get rebounds. We got to defend, and we got to protect our house.
All right, Susie, thank you very much.
Thank y'all.
A record-setting night for the Lady Cardinals. Rob, back to you.
So the Lady Cardinals pick up a much-needed district win after losing to Louisville the first time around in district play. And they do it pretty handily, folks. And if you got any guesses on who the highlights are going to be, at least at the beginning, you know who it's going to be. Number 21 at post, 6'4" senior, Hannah Gusters. And you're just looking at how dominating a player she can be underneath. She also had a few threes as well. And look at that shot there. That shot there was number 50. 50 points tonight, a record for MacArthur. On the other side, Brittany Gonzalez, the yin and the yang, if you will. She's 4'11". She had 6 3-pointers, 21 points in all. Wilson tried to do her best to make this a game for Nimitz, but it was too much of Hannah Gusters and her 50 points as MacArthur wins handily, 81-34. Gusters with the 50, her supporting cast, Green, Newsom, and Butler. And then you have a host of players at 3, Gutierrez, Brokenberry, Daniel Webster, bringing up the other scoring for MacArthur. Only 3 players for the Lady Vikings scored. And if it wasn't for Brittany Collins and her 3-point shooting from the arc, it would really, really look bad. She had 21 points. Wilson with 9, and Durley had 4. And it's now time for the boys to take over in this 6-6A shootout, crosstown rivalry between MacArthur and the Nimitz Vikings. MacArthur comes in with a 15-4 overall record, 1-0 in district. Second game of the district with Flower Mound, Louisville, Marcus also at perfect records. Coppell, Hebron, Nimitz, and Irving there at the bottom. It's once again a very stacked team for the Cardinals. And it's not like they just have 10 players. They have a whole roster full of like close to 15 for Toby to choose from. And he told me earlier, he goes, I don't have 1 or 2 that are just, totally outstanding. They just all play. They know their role, and he goes, I might not have the best athletes that I've ever had, but I've got a lot of good ones. And he's enjoying that so far, and his team will be called on to take on a Viking team that has struggled this year. They've only won 3 games overall, and the numbers just aren't quite as there. But here are the starting lineups, and we'll start, first of all, for MacArthur, since they are the visitors. Trey Mathis, saw him a lot last year, the 6'2 guard. Daly, Ross, Hardy, and Zach Tatum, one of the forwards, at 6'2. For Coach Donaldson and company, you've got Ross, the forward. Keep an eye on this sophomore, number 2, the 5'8 guard, Jason Justice. More times than not, he leads his team in scoring so far this year. Denson, one of the guards. C. Fuentes, a guard. And then Chance Hernandez, who we saw on the football team, the senior, the 6-3-4. The Cardinals will be in red, the Vikings in the home white trimmed in purple, and with the call, Mr. John Nilsson.
All right, Rob, in the jump circle, Kenny Hardy will go up for the Mac Cardinals, and Azim Ross in the jump circle for the Nimitz Vikings. Nimitz at 0-1, Mac just the opposite at 1-0. New unis this year for the Cardinals as they take possession of it first.
Like the road unis.
Devion Daly swings it outside to Phil Ross. The return feed to Daly. Daly guarded tightly by Jason Justice, a sophomore. First shot of the game outside of the lane, no good. Follow-up, no good. Long rebound run down by the Cardinals. Trying to save it, and doing so is Phil Ross.
That was just an opportunity that was lost by Nimitz. They had two players who pretty much gave up on the rebound, thinking the other would get it.
The drive and a scoop to the hoop by Trey Mathis, and the offensive foul.
Azim Ross that time, the 6'4" senior. Steady Eddie in the paint, was able to draw the foul.
Cardinals come in averaging 61 points a game. The Vikings averaging 51. As they walk it up court, Jason Justice, a sophomore, averaging 20 a game, 5'8" product. Down low with Devion Daly. Justice looking for Azim Ross on the wing. Ross cutting loose. They swing it outside to Denson. The return feed to Denson. The drive and the jump pass outside. Open top of the key. Cifuentes misses. Rebound and off the glass. Softly done. Jason Justice, the sophomore.
5'8", played like 6'5" right there.
Devion Daly drifting over to the right side with Justice. Down low to Hardy. Hardy finding an opening and scoring. Kenny Hardy, 6'5" junior. Just broken the seal on this one, knotted up at 2 apiece.
You look at their size, John. They're all pretty much the same for Max. 6'4", 6'5". And that makes you think they don't have anybody that's tall.
Taller, yeah. Last deflected off of Phil Ross, so the Vikings get it back inside court. Vikings have lost 4 in a row. Here's the pickoff and the drive by Trey Mathis, and the layup good by Mathis, and a 4-2 Cardinal lead.
Quick hands by the senior that time.
7 seniors, 5 juniors, and 3 freshmen this year comprise the Cardinal varsity roster. This one tipped out of bounds by Daly. Vikings have 8 seniors, 2 juniors, and 2 sophomores.
Cardinals had won 4 in a row before a huge loss to Richardson, 90-64. We know
and the block congested underneath Hardy on Denson.
We know that Richardson can field a really good basketball team. We saw them in the playoffs a few years back. There's the block, well done.
So the Vikings reset it. Azim Ross leaves it right side. Shot poured in nicely by number 20, Chance Hernandez, 6'3" senior. Tied at 4, long distance. Phil Ross misses, run down by Daly. Taken away by Denson. Nick Denson with a steal. And the drive goes up as challenged and will draw the 2-shot foul.
For Denson, first of all, great play defensively. Second of all, concentration. I mean, really, John, I think they could have called a foul against MacArthur 2 or 3 times on his way down the court. He was hacked left and right. They finally called it there when he was at the basket.
Team foul number 2 assessed to the Cards, and Nick Denson at the stripe. Nimitz coming off a 66-43 loss to Flower Mound. Again, only the 2nd district game for both squads. Number 15 checking in for the first time, Isaiah Gardner. Gardner, the district defensive player of the year last season.
Didn't know if he was going to play tonight, I heard. He's had
Suffering
some
a leg
injuries.
injury. Well, he splits a pair at the line, and the lead at 1. Devion Daly, right hash mark, working on Jason Justice, and a block
Foul on Hardy trying to set the screen.
Team foul number 3, a 5-4 early lead for the Vikings. Overall at 3-10, the Cardinals at 15-4. Long pass intended for Hernandez, broken up, and the drive and the subsequent foul as Kenny Hardy trying to get the extra step underneath.
Coaches say if you're going to foul them, make it count. That's what Hernandez did there as Hardy came up with the steal and tried to take it the distance.
6'5" junior Kenny Hardy at the line for repair. Cardinals last year finished 18-14. They were 8-6 in the district, good enough for 4th place.
Coach Martin will be the first to tell you, though, it was still a growing year for them. He knew he had 1 year away before he thought he had a pretty good team.
Second free throw a little heavy, so we are tied at 5. Azim Ross averaging 9 points and 6 rebounds a game. Sends it right side to Jason Justice, wasting no time. Justice misses the 3. Run down in the corner by Mathis. The handoff to Mathis, the drive, and the bucket over Hernandez.
A very fast Cardinal team.
On the other end, trying to fill it up is Jason Justice. Long rebound kicked away and saved by Nick Denson. Cards on top by a deuce. They start the 5-second count on Hernandez. He'll take it inside and draw the foul. Hernandez with a nice quick step, able to draw the foul. Team foul number 4 on the Cards. Kenny Hardy assessed his second.
I think the Cardinals have done a good job so far containing Justice.
They'll have one more. Marcus Rigsby Jr. entered a guard, a junior at 5'8". So Hernandez with one more to try and make it a 1-point game. Vikings last year finished 4-10 in the district and misses both. Yanked down by Mathis. And a quick push off as Mathis got the shot off, but did a little extra in doing so, and quickly 5 team fouls in the first 4 minutes.
And that's number 2 on Mathis.
Stuck it out there pretty good.
Watch him go left side. I think Chance did a good job of selling that as well.
I mean, a head bob?
Yeah.
Before the inbound, got a hold on Zach Tatum.
Number 13, Zach Tatum, his first, the team's 6th.
So that is the 6th team foul. And Azim Ross able to find Nick Denson. Back to Ross. Picked up at midcourt by Tatum, and then he palmed it, turned it over.
You don't hear that call or see that call very often. At first I thought they were saying he went over front and back in court, but I knew that wasn't the case.
Underneath, Phil Ross. Becomes the 3rd different Cardinal to score, and the lead at 4. Quick handoff, turning, shooting, partially blocked. That was Isaiah Gardner that took the initial shot that was blocked. Outside, open for a 3. Marcus Rigsby Jr. And the lead now at 7.
Notice, John, in the first quarter so far, this game kind of played inside the circle. Not a lot of jump shots taken outside the arc.
Azim Ross sends it over to Denson. Denson fronted by Ross. Thrown away, intercepted in the paint by Davion Daly. He'll leave it for Rigsby, an underhand push off, and then the shot taken and missed by Ross. Hernandez He goes up as challenged and will go to the line.
That whole series in transition, it pretty much sums up what we've seen here in the first quarter. A lot of fast breaks for both sides, and the result of those fast breaks have pretty much set the tone here early.
Good end-to-end action, not many points, but
you've seen some charges.
Hold.
Second time now that Hernandez will go to the line to shoot 2.
And converts the first, so the lead at a half a dozen. 2:54 to go in a fast-moving first quarter here at Nimitz High.
Donaldson wants a timeout if he makes this, and he'll get it. As Coach Donaldson looks on at his team, got his hands full this season.
Cardinals come in having won 5 of their last 6.
Both Donaldson and Toby are in their 8th season coaching here. Of course, the Dean of Coaches in men's basketball, Steve Perry over at Irving. We'll see him next time on ICTN, but Donaldson, who went to Sam Houston State in college and also went to Wilmer Hutchins, was a head coach at Maypearl, and has taken his team to the playoffs 3 of 8 years. You could say he's grossly outmanned as far as numbers are concerned.
A Sam Houston State product. Have you done any games in Bearcat country in Huntsville?
I have. But believe it or not, I believe the last time I was there is for a high school playoff game.
Now that's Bearcats with a K.
It is with a K.
Baseline left, they shut down on Daly, long outside. Phil Ross rings the bell with a 3. Phil Ross. Team three-pointer number 2.
Got Bearcats with a K, Pittsburgh without the H on the end.
Foul line extended left, Isaiah Gardner misses, but underneath, Hernandez and the lead at 6. Quick handoff, no shot in the corner. There's one. Nothing but the bottom of the net. Zach Tatum.
Well, after saying that this game is being played inside the circle, the Cardinals have hit 3 threes.
The drive, the shot by Justice, it misses, saved by Hernandez. Looking for a teammate, puts it on the floor, has to hurry the shot. No go, gets another rebound and converts. He stayed with it.
Listed as 6'3", he plays like 6'5".
In the corner for a 3, and that one a little short. A 7-point lead with a minute and a half to go in the first quarter. Denson front court. Goes baseline, stops, does a 180, gets a shot off, and able to put it in. Nick Denson pushes it up and in.
Enjoying the fact that everyone is getting an opportunity to score here in the first quarter.
Got a flurry of points here in the last minute and a half.
Spread the wealth.
Joe LeBove in the game for the Cardinals. This is he who gets it back out for a 3-point attempt by Daly that misses. Under a minute to go. And a little short on the delivery, Nick Denson. Cards put the hammer down. Shot taken and missed by Rigsby with 42 seconds to go in the first quarter. From the free throw line from 15, Jason Justice, sophomore that's averaging 20 a game with his 4th point.
Double J with the J.
9-point lead has now been trimmed to 3. Davion Daly. And headed this way and cut off. Out of bounds, it'll belong to the Cards. 23.9. Jose Cifuentes. And Chris Clark, also number 13 for the Vikings. Davion Daly, little bounce pass for LeBove. With 10 seconds, Daly with a head fake, he'll shoot and score from 14. Daly with his first two, 1 second, and that'll do it. First 8 minutes in the books at the end of the first quarter. It's Mac 20, the Vikings of Nimitz 15. Back with a second quarter on our ICTN Game of the Week. You know, 35 points in the first 8 minutes here at Nimitz High. Cardinals on top by a nickel. As both coaches Joel Donaldson and Toby Martin send out their 5 to begin the second quarter. And Azim Ross will play it in across the way. Coach Martin in year number 9. Game number 20 overall for Mac. Game number 14 for the Vikes. Azim Ross guarded by Zach Tatum. Ross will take it in, tries the one-handed jam, misses. They get a reprieve. Putting on floor is Ross, lost it, picked up, lead pass, and catching up with it is Ross.
Boy, what an angle. I didn't think he had a chance.
He got to it, able to get the shot off, and Ross with his 7th point. The lead at 7. Baseline right, shot taken, a miss, follow-up miss, into the hands of Phil Ross, who was able to reel it in. In traffic, Daly back outside to Rigsby Jr. for a 3 that's missed and over the baseline. Last touch by Mac.
Watch this fast, coming on the fast break. Watch the pass there, and then just look at the angle. Somehow Ross was able to make it work. His body was behind the baseline, but his arm was still in play.
Daly to Ross, junior to senior. Just inside the arc, not there for Jose Cifuentes. On the other end, that layup and the drive. As Tatum was hit, team foul number 2 assessed to the Vikings.
Only the second time that, third time actually, that a Cardinal has gone to the free throw line, as Hardy made 1 out of 2.
Zach Tatum hitting the first of 2.
Which is kind of amazing if you think about it, John, all the fast breaks and moves to the hoop, that they've only been to the free throw line twice with 2 shots each player.
Matches the biggest lead at 9. Chance Hernandez in for Nimitz. Azim Ross with a quick handoff to Jason Justice. Justice, a sophomore, spins, somehow gets a shot off, trying to save it, goes over the line and off number 2, Jason Justice.
Although he lost control of it, the guy has potential for some electric moves.
Davion Daly. Daly trying to take it closer. He does, and shoots over Justice, and will go to the line. Team foul number 3 on the Vikings.
Next foul, Jason Justice is first. The team's third.
Davion Daly at the strike. That one curls out.
Davion Daly, 1 more shot.
Cards coming off a win over Irving High, 81-67. Second free throw was down. 3 points for Daly, and the lead now at 10. This is Ross, Azim Ross backing in on Tatum. They both hit the deck. And that one initiated more so by Zach Tatum.
Watch Ross, number 1, losing control a little bit, but Tatum had not established himself yet. So even though the Cardinals are hoping for the charge, nope, it's going to be a block, and we'll send Ross to the free throw line.
That is the 8th team foul committed by the Cards. And Azim Ross, a 6'4 senior, at the line, shooting 2 and hitting the first. And for the first time, Doy Wharton, number 32. Warden is 6'2", junior. As Ross will line up the second. Pours it in. And the lead now at 8 with 6:12 to go in the first half. Rigsby Jr. slides and was able to get Cifuentes in front of him. And a quick hand check and the foul on Cifuentes. And this one run down, touched, and finally controlled by Ross. Daly. Warden, and it ends up into the hands of Rigsby Jr. A three-player pass, and Rigsby Jr. with his second three, and the lead now at 11. A little short in the corner. Chance to really open up some daylight here. Head fake by Daly. He'll take it inside. A little short. And who has it? Coming out with is Hernandez. Guarded tightly, broken up. Nice defense by Daly. Daly caused it, and Daly ends it. And now it's getting out of hand early in the second quarter, Rob.
See if Coach Donaldson opts to call time and break things up a little bit if they don't score here. And that's going to be a charge, and that's going to go against the Vikings, and I would not be surprised to see a timeout. That last series, before even that play, Hernandez had gotten the rebound. He does such a good job of getting the rebounds, but he's got to get rid of it in a hurry because he had nowhere to go, and that just everything seemed to cascade after that.
Vikings now with 5 team fouls. Rigsby Jr. underneath, little quick handoff to Warden, and then coming across is Hernandez with the slap.
That'll be his second foul. With still plenty of time left to go in the second quarter, I don't know how much longer Chance will stay in.
Dory Warden with a couple of shots. Able to connect on the first. Gary Smith, senior in. And here's Warden's follow-up. Not there. Ziem across the way, now works it in the middle. Nice bullet pass inside and a head fake and a nice turn, and Cifuentes scores underneath.
That was a nice baseline move by Cifuentes.
Nice pass in his hands from about 23 as Rigsby Jr. misses. Run down by Gary Smith, number 11. In midair, the jump. That was Rigsby Jr. And there is the 7th team foul assessed to the Vikes.
Do they call that on Hernandez? That'll be his third.
Yeah, it's his third.
I'm thinking it might have been against Justice. Don't know if we have a replay on that to see what happened on the play as Rigsby misses the free throw.
They've got Hernandez up there on the board with 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. So here's the second. And 7 points now in the first half for Rigsby Jr. and the lead at 13. Ross looking for help. Denson able to work free inside to Hernandez. Chance Hernandez with a turn and able to put it down. He now in double figures with 10. Oh, lost his footing on the outside. Pass intended for Warden on the wing. And Dan Kenyon, number 33 at 6'7". Warden will come out. Dan Kenyon.
He's the tallest one of the group.
6'7". Under 4 minutes to go here in the half. Justice picked up by LeBeau. And this one away from the ball.
Coach Martin won't like that play by Smith. That was just careless, trying to reach in like that and picked up the foul. ninth team foul. Send him to the line here with plenty of time left to go in the quarter.
At the line, number 3, Nick Denson. 1 of 2 in foul shooting. He'll have another chance. Lead at 10, 32-22. Next week, or in a couple of weeks, we'll be at Irving to see this same squad, the Cards, as they take on the Tigers. That one off the mark. And Smith with a loose ball underneath. Bounce pass from Rigsby Jr. to Smith. Back to Rigsby Jr. Daly's open up top. 3:21. Here's Daly on an underhand pass. Picked up by Ross.
Surprised they haven't tried to go inside yet on the mismatch height-wise.
Moving to the top to Rigsby Jr. He'll take the three-pointer. This one in and out of the cup. And Justice with a nice rebound underneath. Jason Justice with 4 points here in the half. This is he, guarded by LeBove. Under 3 minutes, and knocked out of the hands of Cifuentes. Phil Ross in for Gary Smith. Side court, Jose Cifuentes into Jason Justice. Drives, is shut down briefly by LeBove. He'll take him to the right of the circle and shoot on the run. Bounces up high. Hernandez saves it. Trying to get it back again over the line. And off of the Cards.
Hernandez, I would say, very scrappy. Very scrappy underneath. 6'3". And he's matched up against a 6'7". The Cardinals haven't tried to exploit that yet.
Justice from the dotted line, and it goes. It stays down. From 10 feet out. The lead at 8 on the other end. You got motion with Daly leaving his feet. Jumping into the defender. Does not result.
Another charge.
That is his second. And a wet spot underneath as they try to dry it up and ask for a towel. Here it comes.
Watch Denson making the move and drawing the charge.
Was bent back pretty good.
Coach Martin looking on.
Jason Justice slows up the tempo just a tad. He'll drift over right in front of us. Now reverses on LeBove and throws it away. Nobody open on the side. Azim Ross was the closest to it. And a turnover. LeBove finding an opening and missing. Justice drives and will score over Daly.
Some wheels on Mr. Justice.
Sophomore, his 8th point.
That all started when MacArthur had a chance to get some fast break points and couldn't make it happen.
Rigsby Jr. off the mark, picked up by Justice in traffic. He'll stop, he'll shoot and miss from 16. Run down, another chance. Well, Jason Justice now in double figures with 10, and the lead has been cut to 4.
Nice little run by the Vikings. Big game for Coach Donaldson and his group. They have had a tough season, and this would really help them out.
Vikings on a 11-2 run.
And there was the replay there of Justice kissing one off the window, and the official said, hey, you do not get a timeout. I didn't give you a timeout. And the players are back out on the court very quickly.
Can we take one?
We can take whatever we want. Now, whether they will follow or not, it's a different story.
Marcus Rigsby Jr. on one wing, Daly on the other side. They start the count. To Ross, to Rigsby Jr. Looking inside, nobody open, and is poked in the eye by Cifuentes.
It's a Three Stooges poke in the eye right there.
It came close. You're saying it was
Boink.
almost there?
Yeah.
At the line, 1-1, Marcus Rigsby Jr.
Marcus Rigsby Jr. at the line with 1:02 to go in the first half. Did Larry or Curley take the most eye punches?
Oh, it had to be Curley. He took most of the beat down.
The lead at 5, the lead at 6. Drains the second.
Yet he was the ladies' man of the group in real life.
Nazim Ross.
That's because Mo just had one wife and that was it. No girlfriends like Curley.
Justice, it's kicked to Ross. Ross off the double team, lost it, went up, was stripped loose of the ball by Phil Ross.
Ross and Ross.
Outside for a 3. Marcus Rigsby Jr. with his third 3. He has 12 points and the lead at 9.
Just at 4 just a few seconds ago, it seemed like.
With 16 seconds, they'll try to work it down and take the last shot. Jason Justice cards it over the limit on fouls. Outside they go. This is a 3, a little off the mark. They've got 4 seconds now to 2. They've got time at the buzzer. Would have counted. It's off the mark by Ross, but he'll take a 9-point lead into the locker room. It's intermission here at Nimitz High. Our score, the Cardinals 37 and the Nimitz Vikings 28. Back with some halftime highlights and some stats right after this.
So the Cardinals got off to a quick start, saw that big lead evaporate, but then built it right back up before the half, and they really did a lot of good job on pushing the ball up the court, making plays happen defensively, just like the steal right there and Trey Mathis going the distance, and then Trey going right up through the paint. And they did get some big shots on the outside. Daly to Rigsby with the 3, he had a few of those, and they built up the lead. Chance Hernandez, yeoman's work underneath, putting it back up, great hustle. Jason Justice took him a while to get on track, but then when he did, it seemed like they would click on offense, and he hit a couple of shots. Scoring-wise, very quickly, it's Rigsby with 12, Ross with 7, and then the leading scorers for the Nimitz Vikings, it's Hernandez and Justice each with 10. We've started the third quarter. There's been a basket. Mr. Nelson, take it from there.
All righty, Davion Daly scoring the first 2 points to begin this second half. The Cardinals held a 13-point lead on a couple of occasions. The entry pass, and Hernandez able to get a shot off. It's loose. It's run down in the paint by Denson. Hernandez backing in. Denson underneath with a double pump. That's not Denson, that's Ross, Azim Ross. He misses, picked up in the paint by the Cards, and the lead pass to Phil Ross. 1 working on 2, and Ross drops in 2 more. His 9th point in the lead at 41-28. Those 4 points belong to the Cards to begin the second half as a collapse on Jason Justice.
Here's the way things started tonight in the third quarter with the opening play by Daly going to the hoop. That's been their bread and butter, Mr. Nelson, just crashing the boards.
Bounce pass to Hernandez. To the right of the circle. And we'll move it between the circles. That last foul assist to Phil Ross, his second. Minute 25 into the second half. Jason Justice will shoot. That one rims out. Quickly in the front court, down the side is Phil Ross. This is Daly. Daly from 16 misses, run down by Hardy. And Hardy underneath. His 5th point. Biggest lead of the night at 15. And with a 3, Cifuentes. Team 3-pointer number 1. First 3. Open, a little bit too much on it. Mathis misses. Lee pass grabbed over the shoulder by Ross. Ross goes in and draws contact underneath with Kenny Hardy over the line, and the Vikings retain possession.
There
Or the
was
foul
a,
call.
yeah,
beg
there
your
was a
pardon.
whistle. I didn't hear the whistle. I thought, is this going to be an inbounds play? Ross will go to the line.
Azim Ross at the line. He is 2 of 2. Vikings were 4 of 8 in foul shooting the first half. The lead at a dozen. Azim Ross, 6'4" senior, averaging 9 points and 6 rebounds. Nimitz 0-1 in district play. The Cards at 1-0. Missed them both. Who has it? It's volleyballed up in the air and pulled down by Trey Mathis. Mathis goes end to end and misses. They get it back. That's Tatum. And Tatum hit on the elbow. And will have 2 shots. Cifuentes assess the foul. Cardinals 8 of 12 in foul shooting, now 8 of 13.
Tatum, 1 more shot.
Tatum with 1 more. Defensively, the Vikings came in allowing 55. That one off the mark from the outset. Cardinals averaging 61. Azim Ross, he'll try to take it in, shoot and miss. Tip to Daly. Underneath, and the drive. And the basket by Ross. He has 11. Intercepted by Hardy. The lead at 14, 3 minutes into the second half. Daly says, why not? He takes a 3 and misses. Ross owns the boards. Open to Cifuentes. Fuentes around 1, around 2, may even partially blocked by Phil Ross. Underneath. And deflected out of play by Nimitz.
This pace is just so slow. I don't know if I can take it.
Windshield wiper back and forth.
Man. They don't slow down, do they?
Marcus Rigsby to inbound quickly in the corner. That one missed from 3-point range. Run down by Tatum. Tatum inside. And count it.
Well, not only does Ross get that, but they make Chance pick up his 4th foul. Watch it on the baseline. Chance acting surprised that he didn't make contact. Officials saw otherwise.
Nice wraparound pass. Ross able to get the shot off. And the lead at 16. It was 37-28 at halftime. Cardinals outscoring the Vikes 17-13 in the second quarter. Bounce pass collected on the wing by Cifuentes, who gives it up inside. Ross misses and caught waist high by Hardy.
If I was Mac, I'd just go toward Hernandez, claiming 4 fouls.
3 taken a miss by Ross, and trying to grab control of it, Nick Denson.
Nimitz ball.
Substitution Nimitz in for the first, Chris Clark. Clark may have seen a couple of minutes in the first half.
Also entering number 15, Isaiah Gardner.
So you know they're going to have to put Hernandez on the bench
With
for
4
at least
fouls.
for the rest of the third.
It's up to Isaiah Gardner and now Chris Clark. And trying to assess that last call. It's Nimitz ball at side court. It'll be Azim Ross to trigger it back in. Here's Cifuentes. Ross looking to Cifuentes. A little floater, not there. Trying to save it up in the air is Gardner. And Cardinals come down with it. 3:38 to go in the third. 47-31. Beyond the arc. Trey Mathis. Team three-pointer number 7. And the lead at 19. Partially tipped. Ross able to get to it first. Take it underneath. And count it. Ross is hit after the shot. Team foul number 3 on the cards. It's going to be on Kenny Hardy.
Watch the move.
Yeah,
Right
that's
down
Hardy's
the
third.
Hardy stuck the hand in there and got caught. Meanwhile, Ross will take a breather from Matt. And LeBeau will come in for the Redbirds. Just think, John, if MacArthur, and they have made their fair share of threes, but just think if they could up that field goal percentage just a little bit, how effective this team could be.
Be tough to handle. Especially the second half of the district. The putback by Clark. Preseason pick to make the playoffs this year. That one a little bit off the mark is Rigsby. Couldn't quite get enough of it. And then a loose wall foul underneath.
Or was it a jump ball? Jump ball.
Yeah, it held long enough, I guess. Yeah, thumbs up. And it comes to Hardy. Double pump. Gets an opening off the glass. His 7th in the lead at 17. Zane Ross now switches over to the right. Closing in defensively is Rigsby. And nobody there. Ross throws it away. He thought that perhaps Clark was going to clear either Clark or Gardner in a turnover.
Yeah, I think it was Gardner. Gardner had made a move to post up perhaps or make a screen for his teammate, and they threw the ball away.
Marcus Rigsby Jr., 5'8" guard. He'll send it over to Mathis. Mathis trying to twist free. Nice handoff. I thought it was going to come in and out. It stayed down. A soft two-handed jam.
Counts the same.
Hardy with 9 points and the lead at 19 with 2:05 to go in the third. Azim trying to get free. He did and draws the contact. 2:01 left. Foul's going to be on Marcus Rigsby Jr., his first. It'll put Azim Ross at the line. These two teams meet again in February. That one taken and missed. Toby Martin going to put Phil Ross back in, number 4.
Phil Ross returns, replacing Kenny Hardy.
Ross, who can play either the guard or the forward spot, takes his time. That one misses. That rolls out. Mathis ahead. And the layup good by Ross adds to his total, 15 points for the senior. Lead at 21, blocked at the free throw line by Ross. On the other end. Out there and saved by Cifuentes. Minute and a half left. High off of the glass. Justice.
John, that's his first 2 points of the second half, and he was a major part of that comeback for Nimitz in the second quarter.
Long three taken from the left elbow by Rigsby Jr. Here's Cifuentes up top. Minute 6. Jason Justice short to the right. Run down by LeBeau. Trey Mathis outside to Phil Ross, waiting, shoots, misses. Cards get the rebound and the putback. Going left hand is Mathis. His 9th point. All Cards here in the 3rd quarter. They put 21 on the board here in the 3rd. Just 9 points tallied by the Vikings with 26 seconds left. Cifuentes a little off the mark, over the line, off of one of the Cards underneath. Tatum, I believe. Vikings get it back. Number 14, Javon Allen in for the first time. Javon Allen, a 5'6" senior guard. And the looping pass caught by Clark. And between the legs of Gardner, who couldn't come up with it.
Phil Ross might have shielded that pass a little bit, as Coach Donaldson can only just grimace a little bit and know that he's facing a team that has good depth, good speed, and that up and down mentality offensively is really doing a number on the Vikings tonight.
Tatum in the middle to Mathis with 7 seconds left. Mathis will drive. He'll get the shot off. It's a little short. At the buzzer. Not there for Ross, but the lead at 21 as we go to the 4th. 58-37. Cards in control. Underway in the 4th quarter, and a teardrop from Jason Justice. His 14th point, batted loose. Coming up with it is Chris Clark. And ahead to Jason, and Jason Justice with 4 quick points. He now has 16, averaging 20 a game. It's 58-41. A 21-9 3rd quarter explosion by the Cards. They've provided a little separation, and it comes to Hardy. Hardy with a double pump, able to get Gardner to commit. Kenny Hardy with his 11th point.
Been a good second half for both Hardy and Phil Ross for Mac.
3 players in double figures for the Cards. Off the hip as Justice goes up. And team foul number 5 upcoming for the Cards are going to get LeBeau. His first. And that'll put Jason Justice at the line. His first free throw opportunity of the night. 5'8" sophomore, 1 of 2 this year for Coach Donaldson. He has 8 seniors and 2 juniors. Justin lines up the second, in and out. Oh, it got penetration, just didn't stay, but Chris Clark gets the rebound and the follow-up.
Nice work by Clark to get the putback. Vikings 0 for 7 from the line in the second half.
Marcus Rigsby Jr. going to try the three-point waters and miss. Jason Justice able to wrestle loose with it. Slipped out of his hands. It's still loose and controlled by Rigsby. Nice floor move to save it by Hardy. Phil Ross with yet another 3. He now has 18 points. And the lead at 20. Well, we saw a city record set tonight in the girls' game as Hannah Gusters poured in 50 of the team's 81 points, an all-time record on ICTN, and no doubt one that will be saved for years in the archives. Hannah Gusters with an even 50 points.
Is that climate controlled, by the way?
It is.
Okay.
It's heavily guarded.
Guarded and climate controlled.
Open shot taken and missed by Ross. Allen sends it underneath, and Clark unable to get it to go in. Here's Mathis on the other, and Mathis finds Ross. Another chance, yet a third. In and out, and grabbed quickly by Chris Clark. Jason Justice with a 24-footer from long distance.
Remember, he came in with a bad hip and a bad wrist.
19 points, baseline right. 13, Phil Ross.
Now he makes that difficult shot, and you look back at last chance, he had what, 4 chances underneath the rim.
65-48. Why not? Justice adds to his total.
Over 20 for Justice.
Double deuce.
I can see why he leads the team in scoring pretty much all the time.
The drive, and Rigsby hit on the way up. 13 foul upcoming for the Vikings. Nimitz again overall 3-10, 0-1 in district, coming off a loss to Flower Mound. They have lost 4 in a row. Marcus Rigsby at the line. Cardinals were 8 of 12 in foul shooting the first half. Davion Daly in number 2. Rigsby good on the second. Jason Justice, Ross a double team, cross court to Ross. Got an extra man down court. And out of the hands of Hernandez. Saved in the corner by Hardy. Up top for a straight on 3. That one missed, but run down by Daly. To Hardy, working on Hernandez.
That'll be his 5th.
Chance Hernandez has fouled out with 10 points.
All of those in the first half.
Yep.
Got in foul trouble late in the second quarter. Had 3 at the first half and picked up number 4 and 5 here. Number 5 late in the fourth quarter.
Kenny Hardy, number 5, a 6'5" junior at the line for the Cardinals. They're going to go to 2-0 in district play. And one more coming. Follow the path of the ball as it goes through. It's always a good shot underneath. You can see that spin. You can tell as soon as it leaves his hand if it's going to be good. That one blocked out of bounds on the drive by Zeem Ross. And Ross will trigger it back in. Sends it up high for Nick Denson. Denson with a couple of points tonight. It's loose, it's kicked away. Vikings trying to get it back, and they do. And that one off the glass by Jason Justice. 24 points for the sophomore.
He's fun to watch, you know it.
In transition as Hardy finishes it off. We'll see him again in a couple of weeks. Open is Mata. Mata with a 3. Off the bench, Andrew Mata, a junior.
That's probably the loudest we've heard the Nimitz fans for a while. They haven't had a lot to cheer for.
Splitting the defense is Daly. His 9-point timeout. Nimitz with 2:52 to go in the game, and the Cardinals on top 73-54.
Well, they whittled it down for a while, but that's about it. You know, we've had some signees, John. They started letting you do that in December, and we had the girls' game before us. Both Sarah Andrews and Hannah Gusters signed with Baylor for baseball for Nimitz. Ricardo Armenta signed to go with Dallas Christian, and then Greg Maskarnik, Texas Wesleyan. Women's soccer, MacArthur, Annabelle Westbrook going to UT Tyler, in cross country, Mark MacArthur, Abigail Lewis, Southwest Oklahoma State.
Drive is blocked. Here come the Cards on the other end. And grabbed as Tatum got off his second opportunity, but was held from behind and will go to the line, have to earn these two for the strike. Zach Tatum, 6'2" senior at the line with 5 points. 2:42 left in this one. Coaches like this early signing period. A lot of coaches really on board when that was passed.
Do they like that better, or do they like the transfer portal even better?
It's already proved dividends for some.
A lot.
More coming, too.
Yes.
Three-pointer taken by Ross, not there. Hardy didn't even have to jump as he got the rebound underneath. Davion Bailey working on Denson. Now this is Rigsby Jr. Daly bottoms it out with a three. Davion Daly, his 12th point. And a 30-second timeout with 2:09 to play.
Well, the series pretty much MacArthur, but in 17-18, Nimitz swept them. Mac won last year. It was a close one, that second game, 67-64. Some close games along the way as well in 16. Close ones in 14. Vikings snapped that 10-game losing streak just a couple of years ago. One of those games where traditionally, just because of the rivalry and the fact it's teams from the same city, oftentimes you don't get the blowout, but tonight might be a different story. Maybe the athleticism of the Cardinals just a little notch above that of the Vikings.
81, the most offensive points put on the board this year by the Cards. That came last week in the win over Irving High, 81-67. Jason Justice, no good. Pulled down by Hardy with 1:50 to play. Gary Smith and Rigsby couldn't quite get the feel, but backs it out outside. Says, well, I'll just take the three.
It was a tough shot, actually.
His first points. And 80-54 the count. And a handoff to Mata, who gets rid of it. Nazim Ross back outside to Javon Allen. Ross looking cross court, tipped, and taken away by Rigsby, and he's grabbed and held, and Ross and some separation there with 1:11 to go.
We'll have MacArthur and Irving in a few weeks from now, a couple of weeks. And then we'll finish out the basketball season with Nimitz and Irving.
Side court, Trey Mathis to play it in. A 26-point lead. The Vikes will fall to 0-2 in district play. They will now have lost 5 in a row.
Got a question with the official scorekeeper.
Who is that tonight? Our PA announcer in the football season now working the games for Nimitz.
Yep, they invited him along. Said, hey, I have nothing else to do.
Cards in the front court with a minute to play. Mathis looking and gets it over to Daly. Daly to the left of the lane, gets the shot off, hits the side of the glass. Hardy gets the rebound, and that one off the mark. Pass intended for, and finally into the hands of Mata. Mata going to take the 22-footer, misses it wide left, but gets the rebound. With a half a minute to go, the drive, and Ross is held in the paint by Rigsby Jr. That'll put number 1, Azim Ross, at the line.
Azim Ross at the line, 2-2.
Jason Justice leading all scorers for the Vikes with 24 points. Azim Ross, and able to can both of them. Mathis looks up, passes up the shot. They don't really need to take anything with 16 seconds to play. Unofficially, I've got Phil Ross with 20 points. Leading scorer for the Cards. Kenny Hardy with 15. They'll just hold it with 3 seconds, and that will end it as the Cards now go to 2-0 in district play, second most offensive points this year, as they outscored the Nimitz Vikings 80-56. 4 players in double digits for the Cards tonight. We'll be back to wrap this up. Rob will interview head coach Toby Martin. We'll have some highlights and call it a night here at Nimitz right after this. 80-56 our final as the Cardinals go to 2-0 in district. And back at Nimitz High, they begin to file out of here as the Cardinals come away with an 80-56 win to go to 2-0 in district play. Rob Willman with Victoria's head coach Toby Martin.
All right, John, thank you very much. Undefeated in district. Pretty good game tonight, you think, for you guys?
Pretty solid. We didn't shoot the ball at our normal clip. Playing over here is always difficult. It is always difficult. They make things tough on you. Coach D does a great job defensively, makes your tendencies uncomfortable, and so that's what we battled with in the first half. After we got it going in the second half, we looked much better shooting the ball.
They cut it to 4 there late in the second quarter. Closest they got after that, you just put on the gas, I guess.
Yeah, we tried to. We played some lineups that we've never played tonight. Same thing happened to us last year. They got deep into our foul count, and some guys that don't normally get a lot of minutes got in, and they actually produced for us very well. It's a testament to how focused they stay and how hard they practice, so when those opportunities arise, they can help us out.
You talked about the lack of a jump shot, but your up and down game very quick tonight. Your defense guys seem to play well, and you got a lot of points in the paint, it seemed like.
We did. Hardy did a good job in the second half when he wasn't so worried about foul count. He kind of established himself as a presence. When he does that, it just takes so much pressure off of our shooters. Does a great job for us.
Do you feel like you're better as an inside team, or do you got to have that jump shot to complement the big game?
I think we're a better shooting team. The great thing about this team is I can bring a couple off the bench that can give you some shoot at a high percentage. And when you have number 3 Joseph LeBeau coming off his early starter this year, started probably 12 games for us. And when you have Marcus Rigsby, 0 coming off the bench, and even though it's an injury and he's still working himself into playing the right way, I mean, anytime you have that coming off your bench on your second unit, you're going to be all right.
Early in district, you feel good about your chances?
I like our chances. If we continue to stay locked in, keep working in practice, clean up our transition game, I think we have a good shot to do something special.
All right, congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, appreciate it, Coach. Now back to you, John.
All right, Rob, appreciate it very much as the Cards outscore the Vikings 43-28 here in the second half. Take a look at some of the second half highlights as the Cards really never pressed tonight. Kenny Hardy working free, 2 of his 15 points. Here's Phil Ross on a drive. Ross ended with an even 20 points. And the third member, we'll see Trey Mathis. As he turns, goes left-handed, and Mathis delivers 2 of his 9 points. Vikings hitting a 3 from the outside. Jose Fuentes, and then Jason Justice. Justice with a nice second half. There's 2 of his 24. Here's 2 more as Jason Justice, who came in averaging 20, ends up with 24 points tonight, but not enough. Phil Ross led the Cards in scoring with 20. Marcus Rigsby Jr. had 17. Kenny Hardy in double figures with 15. Davion Daly with a dozen. Your 4 top scorers for the MacArthur Cardinals. Jason Justice and Chance Hernandez combining with 34 of the 56 points. Next tie is Azim Ross with 6. So the Cardinals win at 80-56 in our District 6-6A game of the week. They go to 2-0 in district play. The Vikings now have lost 5 in a row. Nimitz now 0-2 in district play. 3 weeks we're at Irving High. We'll see the same Cardinal team as they take on the Irving Tigers. Once again, our final score tonight, 80-56 in favor of the MacArthur Cardinals. For our ICT and production crew, everyone here at Irving Nimitz, for Rob Willman, once again our final score, the Cardinals 80, the Vikings 56. Until next time, this is John Nelson saying good night from Nimitz High.